back again with my fourth YouTube video for you guys, and I just want to know, how are you guys doing tonight? How are you guys feeling? Is everybody doing alright? Everybody doing good? Everybody staying safe from COVID? Because ever since COVID's been out, it's been like a weird time around here. And even though we're having fun and stuff and having a blast, I just want you guys to know you gotta be safe, because if you're not wearing your mask, you can easily become sick and you can die. And that's why I do what I can as a young gentleman to stay safe, and I wear my face mask, and I always wash my hands before I eat, because I don't know who got COVID. You never know who has COVID. And I just want to put that out there for you guys. Please wear your face mask and please wash your hands. And let's hop into the DVD and video game reviews. My first DVD I'm going to do for you guys tonight is TNA Sacrifice 2010. And they was in Orlando, Florida at the time. And this is one of my all-time favorites of all. I have 3 favorite matches on here. The first one at the bottom was the triple threat #1 contenders match. You had Beer Money Incorporated, the Motor City Machine Guns, and the Dudley Boys, Team 3D. And they, for a minute, I thought the Dudley Boys was going to win, and they was my favorite tag team of all time. They had so many matches in TNA and WWE, and they fought their hearts out. And the winners would have a title match at the next pay-per-view, and they fought to the end. And at the end of the day, the Motor City Machine Guns pulled through and got the title shot. And I had to clap for the Dudley Boys, because I will never forget sitting in front of the TV watching these 6 gentlemen fight to the end. They were some good tag teams. So I would encourage all of you guys, if you like tag teams or whatever, any tag team wrestling, please check these guys out. They are incredible. My second favorite match on here is the TNA World Tag Team Title match, which featured 4 TNA superstars and it has 2 WWE superstars. The first 2 are Kevin Nash and Scott Hall from WWE, and they was with Eric Young at the time. He was their manager, and they had a nickname. They was called The Band. And they took on Inc. Incorporated, Jesse Neal and Shannon Moore, for the TNA World Tag Team titles. And I will never forget this match, because I was really rooting for Jesse Neal and Shannon Moore. And I really thought that Shannon Moore from WWE and his partner Jesse Neal was going to defeat Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, and they almost did it. But at the end of the day, Kevin Nash and his friend Scott Hall did their devastating move on Shannon Moore and Jesse Neal, and they walked away the TNA World Tag Champions. And Jimmy Borash was the announcer for that match, and I will never forget watching these 4 gentlemen put on one heck of a show. And I gotta give it up to all 4 of them, because they fought to the end. And it goes to show you can try, but at the end of the day, another tag team is going to come along and pin you when you're not paying attention. And my last match that I have on here that is my all-time favorite was when Rob Van Dam took on AJ Styles for the TNA World Heavyweight title in the main event of TNA Sacrifice. And this is one match I will never forget as long as I live, because Rob Van Dam is no longer wrestling anymore, and he had so many amazing matches in TNA and WWE, and he put on one heck of a show on this pay-per-view right here versus AJ Styles. And AJ Styles was the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, and these two put on one heck of a show, ladies and gentlemen. And at the at the beginning of the match, I was rooting for Rob Van Dam because he was one of my favorites, and I will never forget as long as I live. I know there's a lot of you that like Rob Van Dam, watch his documentary or have him on your Raw versus SmackDown games or even seen his movies. And this is another match of his right here. He put the energy into this match, and he walked away at the end of the day, the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion, because the fans cheered for him, and I cheered for him even though I wasn't there. I felt like I was right there cheering for him in the front row. And I will never forget this amazing human being. I will never forget his match that he had. And I will never forget this other guy, AJ Styles. And what I would encourage all of you to do is, if you like TNA or even the wrestlers, please check them out on TNA.com. That's it for this one. My second DVD I'm going to review tonight is called UFC 53 Heavy Hitters. And they was in Atlantic City Boardwalk Hall, New Jersey at the time, and there was two title matches there was two title matches that night, and I will never forget them. And I have three favorite matches on here that I'll never forget. One of them is when Evan Tanner took on Rich Ace Franklin for the UFC title, 5 rounds, and I was pulling for Rich Ace Franklin because I thought he was going to walk away the UFC champion, and I really thought Evan Tanner was going to leave New Jersey still the UFC champion. But at the end of the day, in round 4, Rich Ace Franklin uppercutted him, and he got knocked out in round 4, and the referee had no choice but to stop it, and Rich Ace Franklin was crowned the new UFC champion. And there was champagne bottles, water bottles, soda bottles, and there was a party for Rich Ace Franklin that night. He was celebrating, he was having a ball, and I will never forget watching him in action against Evan Tanner. I gotta give it up to Evan Tanner. He was a heck of a UFC champion. But Rich Ace Franklin walked away the UFC heavyweight champion, ladies and gentlemen. And my second match that is my favorite was when David the Crow Loiseau took on Chainsaw Charles McCarthy, 3 rounds, and those two gentlemen put on one heck of a boxing show, ladies and gentlemen. And I was rooting for Charles Chainsaw McCarthy because I thought he was going to knock that guy out. But in round 2, David the Crow Loiseau, the UFC veteran, pulled out his uppercut right hand and knocked the other guy out right on his bottom. And he couldn't even do nothing. He just couldn't defend himself. And Steve Mazzagatti had no choice but to stop the match. And when Bruce Buffer was in charge of that match, and he was the announcer, and I will never forget when he announced that David the Crow Loiseau, the UFC veteran that served in the Army, won his UFC match against Charles Chainsaw McCarthy. That's one match I will never forget. And that was a heck of a match. He put on one heck of a show, ladies and gentlemen. And the last match I have on here is when Andre the Pitbull Arlovski defended his UFC interim heavyweight title against Justin Elizers for the for 5 rounds, and those gentlemen really went at it. And I really thought Justin Ehlers was gonna take the title from Andre the Pitbull Arlovski, but in round 4, Justin Ehlers was knocked out on his head, and Andre the Pitbull Arlovski walked away still champion. And I gotta give it up to both guys because they fought their hearts out. And I would really encourage you guys, if you love the UFC or have any UFC DVDs or have the UFC game, please check the DVDs out or the video games at UFC.com. That's it for that one. And my last thing I'm going to review tonight is my favorite game of all time. It's called Street Fighter vs. Tekken. And this is an awesome game, by the way. It has 43 characters on it, plus 15 more that are exclusive to PlayStation 3. And I bought this game from GameStop, and when I first bought this game, I didn't know what to expect from it. I thought it was just going to be quiet and no action, but the more I started playing it, it had karate and a lot of fighting and wrestling behind it, and it was the bomb. And I have won trophies from playing this game, and it was so freaking awesome. And I will never forget, as long as I live, when I bought this game. And I would encourage you guys, if you love Street Fighter, the games, or even if you've seen the Street Fighter movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme in it, please check the games out, or the Street Fighter movie at the Capcom.com. That's the company. That's it for this one. And I just want you guys to have a good weekend, and whatever you do, please continue to stay close to God, because He will help you with everything that you need, and He will help get rid of this COVID that's been going around. And have an awesome weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for next week.